Aleksandr Filimonov. A career marked by talent, triumphs, and challenges. Early life and football beginnings. Aleksandr Filimonov was born on May 26, 1974 in Moscow, Russia. At a time when the Russian football landscape was transitioning. The collapse of the Soviet Union had brought about significant changes, not only in Russian politics but also in its sports culture, and the 1990s would prove to be a decade of both hope and challenge for Russian football. Growing up in the capital city, Filimonov was introduced to football at a very young age. His natural athleticism and ability to read the game set him apart early on. Football was a popular sport in Moscow, and Filimonov was drawn to the game almost instinctively. He honed his skills in local youth teams, catching the attention of coaches with his quick reflexes, agility, and impressive technical ability. Filimonov's parents, who were supportive of his sporting ambitions, encouraged him to pursue football professionally. His talent did not go unnoticed, and by the age of 12, he was accepted into the renowned youth academy of Spartak Moscow, one of Russia's most famous and successful clubs. It was here that Filimonov's development took off, shaping him into the goalkeeper he would later become known for. Rising through the ranks. Spartak Moscow. Filimonov's time at Spartak Moscow was crucial in his development. He joined the club's youth academy, where he played for several years, building the technical foundation required to play at the top level. Spartak's youth system was known for producing talented players, and Filimonov was no exception. He quickly ascended through the ranks, gaining experience with the club's second team and impressing coaches along the way. In the early 1990s, Spartak Moscow was in its prime, dominating Russian football and establishing itself as the country's top club. The competition for first-team spots at Spartak was fierce. But Filimonov's skill and composure earned him an opportunity to showcase his abilities on the big stage. His breakthrough came in 1993 when he made his debut for the senior team, though initially, he played as a backup. Over the next few seasons, Filimonov would gradually earn more minutes, building a solid reputation as a goalkeeper capable of handling the demands of high-level football. Filimonov's contributions to Spartak Moscow were significant. His calm under pressure, sharp shot-stopping abilities, and commanding presence in the box made him one of the most reliable goalkeepers in the Russian Premier League. Despite being in a competitive environment, Filimonov's talent earned him a spot as one of the main figures in the club's defense. During his time at Spartak, he helped the team win several Russian Premier League titles and domestic cups, cementing his legacy as one of the key players in the club's golden era, establishing himself as a top Russian goalkeeper. By the late 1990s, Aleksandr Filimonov had firmly established himself as one of the top goalkeepers in Russia. His performances for Spartak Moscow drew attention from national team selectors, and in 1997, Filimonov received his first call-up to the Russian national team. Making his debut for the national team marked a turning point in Filimonov's career. While Russia had produced a number of world-class footballers in the 1990s, the goalkeeper position had always been a question mark. Filimonov, with his calm demeanor and sharp reflexes, became an integral part of the national team's defense. He quickly earned the respect of both his teammates and opposition players for his ability to read the game and prevent goals from difficult situations. Filimonov was a mainstay in the national team for several years, playing in the qualifying rounds for major tournaments such as the UEFA European Championship and the FIFA World Cup. Although Russia was unable to qualify for the 2000 European Championship, Filimonov's role remained essential. His performances during the qualifiers were often praised for his consistency, shot-stopping, and leadership at the back. The 2000s. Domestic success and European challenges. As Filimonov entered the 2000s, his reputation continued to grow both domestically and internationally. Spartak Moscow remained a dominant force in Russian football, but the competition was becoming increasingly fierce, with clubs like Zenit St. Petersburg, CSKA Moscow, and Lokomotiv Moscow posing significant challenges to Spartak's supremacy. Filimonov, however, remained a constant in the Spartak lineup, often serving as the team's first-choice goalkeeper. His performances in the Russian Premier League were exemplary, and he continued to win domestic titles with Spartak, solidifying his status as one of the best goalkeepers in Russia. In 2001, Filimonov made a significant move to Zenit St. Petersburg, seeking new challenges and opportunities. At Zenit, Filimonov found himself in a club on the rise, with increasing ambitions to compete at the top level of Russian football and in European competitions. Zenit had recently acquired new investment, and the club was slowly growing into one of the most powerful teams in the country. However, Filimonov's time at Zenit was marked by mixed fortunes. Despite showing flashes of brilliance, Filimonov was often subject to intense competition for the goalkeeper spot, especially as Zenit signed other high-profile players. During his time at Zenit, Filimonov's performances were solid but inconsistent. While he was a reliable shot stopper, he struggled at times with communication and command in high-pressure moments. Still, he remained a prominent figure in the team and continued to play at a high level in the Russian Premier League. International career and challenges. Filimonov's time with the Russian national team was largely marked by solid performances. But the team's struggles to qualify for major international tournaments continued. Despite the individual brilliance of players like Filimonov, Russia faced challenges in both the European Championship qualifiers and World Cup qualifiers. As the years passed, Filimonov's position in the national team was increasingly questioned as younger, emerging talents gained prominence. The most notable change came in the mid-2000s when Russia began to shift its focus to a new generation of goalkeepers, such as Igor Akinfeev. This marked the gradual decline of Filimonov's role with the national team, and he eventually found himself relegated to a backup role as Russia's new guard took over. However, Filimonov's contributions to the national team remained valuable, and he continued to support the squad from the sidelines, offering advice and mentoring the younger keepers. His leadership, experience, and presence in the dressing room were seen as integral to the national team's development. Later years and transition. As the years progressed, Filimonov moved further down the domestic football pyramid. After leaving Zenit, he continued to play for smaller clubs, including Torpedo Moscow and other Russian lower league teams. At these clubs, he provided invaluable experience and mentorship to younger goalkeepers, even if his appearances became more sporadic. Filimonov's later years were marked by a transition from a regular starting player to a more supportive role. Nevertheless, he continued to train diligently, maintaining the fitness and discipline required to remain at a competitive level. Retirement and legacy. Aleksandr Filimonov officially retired from professional football in 2012, ending a career that spanned nearly 2 decades. While his later years were spent in less glamorous circumstances compared to his early successes, Filimonov's contribution to Russian football cannot be overstated. His consistent performances, particularly in the 1990s and early 2000s, helped establish him as one of the top goalkeepers in the country's history. Filimonov's legacy is one of resilience, consistency, and leadership. Throughout his career, he faced both personal and professional challenges, but his ability to bounce back and maintain a high level of performance remained one of his defining qualities. His leadership on and off the pitch was admired, and his role as a mentor to younger goalkeepers helped shape the next generation of Russian shot stoppers. Post-retirement life. After retiring from football, Filimonov kept a relatively low profile, distancing himself from the media spotlight. Like many former professional athletes, he transitioned into a quieter life, occasionally engaging with the football community through charity events and footballing development programs. He was occasionally seen at Spartak Moscow matches, where his legacy remains cherished by the club's fans. In the years following his retirement, Filimonov's name continued to be associated with some of the finest goalkeeping moments in Russian football history. His determination, skill, and leadership remain an inspiration to aspiring Russian goalkeepers. Through his efforts, he helped lay the foundation for the next generation of goalkeeping talent in Russia, ensuring his legacy would be carried on by future stars. Conclusion. Aleksandr Filimonov's career is one of remarkable achievements and admirable perseverance. From his rise in Moscow to his time with the national team and successful club career, Filimonov exemplified the qualities that all great goalkeepers possess: resilience, consistency, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. Though his career faced setbacks, he remains a beloved figure in Russian football, admired not only for his skills but also for his leadership and dedication to the sport.